Chinese watch brands, are they any good, and do they offer good value for money? Now, I've got nothing against Chinese watch brands. I own quite a few Chinese watches. I've got a Seagull tank military watch, a 1963 Pilot's Seagull watch, a Shanghai Diver re-edition military watch, and a vintage 1970s watch which I picked up in Shanghai. So I've got absolutely nothing against Chinese watches. I think they will offer great value for money. If you can pick one up, I think you should definitely do one, especially their vintage watches. Their vintage watches are just outstanding value for money. Now, a lot of people don't like Chinese watches because they say that it doesn't have any history behind them and the quality is not so good, which is absolutely not true. If you look at the Seagull watch brand, it goes back a long way, and a lot of companies are actually using Seagull movements now. If they're using them straight out of the box, or they're using them with modifications. I think this one is actually a Seagull movement. Now, I've tried to find out some more information what movement's in here, but it's very difficult to know. Now, this watch is the Guanqin. It's a watch which is coming out of China, and for those people who know their watches, you can tell it is I would say, a homage to the Nomos Lambda. Now, that watch, the Nomos, is around about $20,000. This watch comes in at about $65. So if you can get a watch which looks like a $20,000 watch for $65, you're not doing too bad. Now, this does annoy a lot of people, especially the people who own those watches. It kind of makes them really annoyed that somebody who's got a $65 watch and they've paid 20 odd thousand pounds dollars for their watch. It does kind of annoy them. So there are a lot of people who hate homage watches. I don't have an issue with a homage watch. You're getting a watch which looks like an expensive watch, and is that a bad thing? I don't think so. So for me, they're not an issue. So if it's a Chinese watch which is a homage, or a German watch like Steinhardt, or any other watch which is paying homage to certain watches, which you can't get hold of, or which are out of reach of most people, so I think that's fine. So let me give you some specifications of this watch. It's 42 millimeters in diameter. It's 13 millimeters thick, and it has 20 millimeter lugs. Now, I'm not sure what the movement on this is. Like I said, I've tried to find out what it is, but I couldn't get much information. Now, the watch has an open case back. Now, I keep saying in my videos, I'm not a big fan of open case back watches unless there is something very special about the movement. This is just an automatic Chinese movement. It's not anything special. They have done some decoration on the rotor, but I would have preferred it just to have a solid case back with some sort of engraving. I think that would have looked a lot better. But I think the people this watch is aimed at, they're not going to be people who are really into their watches. They just want a good looking watch at a very reasonable, cheap price. And that's exactly what you're getting. You're getting not too many frills, but you are getting quite a lot for your money. Now, the watch comes on this stainless steel deployment bracelet. Now, I've got to say, this bracelet is pretty good. It's very solid. The way they've constructed it it's well worth the price. I think it comes on a deployment buckle which has the Guanqin logo on it and engraving. So it is. I think that the bracelet alone is worth it for the watch. You could use this on something else. Now, I'm not a fan of bracelets, so I personally would wear this on something else, such as a brown leather strap. I think the brown suits the watch a lot better than the stainless steel bracelet. The stainless steel bracelet gives it more of a sporty look, but I think this is more of a dress type watch, so it suits it a lot better. Now, as always, I've put it on a variety of different straps, which is the one good thing about this watch. With it being a white dial, you can have it on a black strap, crocodile strap. I've put it on this blue strap, which I think suits the watch really well with the blue hands. It's really versatile. Now, the blue hands are obviously painted blue, they're not heated blue, so you're not getting blued hands which you would get something in like a Cartier or something like that. But then again, the watch is about $65, so you would expect that. Now on the dial, you've got the big circle with the power reserve. Now at the moment I've wound it up right to the end. It's around about 38 hours power reserve if you wind it right to the end. Now what I did is I wound it up completely and then just left the watch to run down, and it did last around about 38 hours of power, so which is great. Now obviously once you've wound the watch, you wear it and it's going to constantly keep the power reserve going, so you don't have to keep winding it. Then you've got the date window at 6 o'clock. Now I wish the date window was a little bit bigger. This is a little bit too small, especially when you get into double figures. It's sort of all crammed in there. And then you've got the seconds hand again at 6 o'clock. So again, very Nomos watch. So you can see where they're coming from and what they're trying to do. They're going for that market where people want the look of an expensive watch but don't want to spend too much money on it. Now this watch, or this type of watch, is incredibly popular in China. I've actually visited the factory where they make this watch, and they come in a variety of different colors. You've got a blue dial, you've got a rose gold case you can get it with, and then there's a black dial version as well. You can get them on different bracelets, or you can have them on the leather strap or crocodile strap. So there's a whole different variety of different options that you can have with the strap, and I think the prices will vary as well. Now, like I said, this is a very popular watch, so a lot of companies are buying these watches and simply just putting their logo on the watch. Now, the factory I visited, anyone just could go in there and order their watches and say, right, I want my logo on there. So I could actually buy this watch, have my name put on it, and there you go. You've got your own brand, which is what a lot of people are doing in China now. So these micro brands coming out of China are becoming a lot more, and they are sort of eking into a lot of the smaller brands here in the West. Now, this is about $65. What other watches can you get for around that price? You could get a Seiko 5, you could get a Citizen, and there are some other small micro brands out of there as well that you could get. Now for $65, I think this watch offers fantastic value for money for what you're getting. Now I've not had any issues with it. I've been wearing it on and off. I've had the watch now for about a month, and I've been wearing it on and off, and I've not really had any issues with it in terms of timekeeping. The power reserve is working fine. You get what it says on the dial, and if I was to pay $65 for this watch, I think it's fantastic. If I was given this watch for $65, I'd be fairly happy with it. It makes a great present, I think, or even a first watch. It'd be ideal to give somebody as a present for $65. You've got a watch which looks like more expensive than it actually is. As I said earlier, if I went to the factory, I had my logo put in there, put this on Kickstarter, I could probably get $150, $195 on Kickstarter, and it'd probably sell really well. So this is where this watch is coming in at. I think for the value for money, it's absolutely fantastic. I'll put a link to the website where you can buy this watch for underneath. Now I did do a video a few months ago regarding a watch which is very similar to this, which was this one. Now, as I said, these watches are becoming really popular, and I had so many people email me and saying where can they buy this watch from, because I actually bought this from China, from the factory itself. If anybody wants the watch, the link is below. You can buy it, and it's free shipping in England. It's free shipping. I don't know anywhere else what they'll do, but as soon as you click on the link, it'll tell you if it's free shipping or not. But for $65, free shipping in England, you're getting a pretty good watch. I'm going to give this watch to a friend's daughter. If you've watched one of my other videos, you will know I gave her one of my other watches, a Vostok Kommandersky, which actually broke. So this is going to be a replacement for her to wear. It might be a little bit big, she's only 12 years old, but I think she'll like this watch a lot better than that one. I think it's much better made. And I'll do a follow-up video to see how she's got on with it, whether or not she'll break that one or not. It'll be interesting to see.